Hello, everybody. Carla here. I just thought that I would pop on to my own page and do a little impromptu live as well. The demos that I've had scheduled, are being done in the Wool and Fiber Arts community group. And I know there's a little confusion sometimes as far as where is the event broadcasting and that sort of thing. So if you've seen me in the other group, then you don't need to watch me now, but it's totally, it's up to you. Uh, so anyhow, whoops, let me see here. I'm looking at my page as well. Like I said, this is just a little impromptu. I was going to do a little bit with my plying techniques that I use when I do the corespun yarn. And so I am going to go ahead, turn the camera down, and I'm going to give you guys just a little short tutorial. I did do like about a 35-minute or so little demo, like I said, in the Wool and Fiber Arts group. So if you need a link to that, I can post a link down there too. It's a private group. It's not public. So but you just request to join and then they'll get you in there. And it's really just a fantastic group. There's so many different demos, that type of thing that goes on. There's a lot of support for fiber artists in there, a lot of opportunities just to get to know everyone. I think there's like 18,000 members in there. So, I mean, I don't know that someone can get to know everybody, but anyhow, it's something that I've really enjoyed. And I've been doing my live sales on through that group. And so they help to repost it. They help to promote your business. If you're a fiber artist, it's a great place to be. So anyhow, just give that a little shout out to WAFA and the Wool and Fiber Arts. But I'm going to turn the camera down now on my wheel and just do a little short demo, just in case you guys, if you couldn't get into the group or whatever. So here we go. Let me turn this down and see if I can get it pointed directly in the right direction. And we can get go. This is just going to be a little a short one because I've got some puppy pens to clean and stuff, and I know I'm gonna have to bring a puppy on so you guys can see because they're just the cutest little boogers. I'm keeping one of the females and I've named her Pearl, so I call her like Mini Pearl or Little Pearl, and she's a doll. So anyhow, let me show you what I've got. This was a thick and thin that I had spun from the merino bamboo that I dye. So I did the thick and thin. I plied it to make the coils, right? And then another thing that I like to do is go in and do these haystack type plies. And so I'll show you my way of doing it. Believe me, it's not the one and only way, that is for sure. There's lots of ways to do things. This is just kind of what I found that works for me just by trial and error. And so I am more than happy to share any knowledge or information or tips that I have, for someone that wants to learn to do some little fancy art yarns too. This one was spun from a bat that I had carded, and I spun it quite a bit bigger on the thick and thin parts. So I ended up with some bigger coils on here. I had part of I even let part of the yarn come through. Usually I would try to hide that, but this was like a tan merino alpaca, and commercial yarn. I kind of just like the way it looks with that in there. So anyhow, that is what I'm using here. It's just a commercial ball of yarn of the merino alpaca. I would normally use a cone of merino, but honestly, I couldn't find it. And that's not uncommon for me to to misplace things. So let's get this going. I have my ball of the thick and thin here on my wheel. I had been spinning. I spun my bat already. So when I'm doing this and I'm plying, just like if you were plying any other type of yarn, you're going to, I feel like I need to get some tension on this. You need to ply in the opposite direction. Tighten that up a little bit. Okay. So I get going. I usually will try to start out with just kind of a normal ply, right? Just a 2-ply, because I don't want to have too many coils there at the end, because if I'm going to say crochet with this or knit with this, I don't want to have a bunch of coils that may possibly come out. So I'll start off just doing a normal little ply there. And when I get ready to start doing my coils, I'll hold my core yarn here. I'm just going to call it my core yarn because it's what we're going to be wrapping around. And I like to bring my thick and thin over at an angle. So when you're doing it at an angle, see if I can go slower, basically it's just wrapping around this yarn. See that? If part of your yarn comes through, you can push it up a little bit. The thicker part comes, you want to just let that coil right over. And you're holding and keeping tension with the right side. If you're a right hand, left hand, or if you spin like I do with this. So this is my right hand, regardless of how it looks in the camera. It might be backwards. But you want to keep tension on here. The only thing you have to watch out is that twist is going to build up here. So you have to gradually let some of that twist out and go through. So see, right here, I kind of goofed up, right? So it kind of overcoiled or did some weird turn thing. So when that happens, I can either A, unwind it and redo it, or me, how I do things, I'm just going to go back over and make that a little artistic statement. Kind of like, I'm just going to turn that into an art thing. And so that's how I'll do these little fun haystacks. Ooh, and I like that color up there. So I'm going to stop there. And then I'll come back down and start doing my regular plies. But see, it gives a really cool, I think, effect to it. If you were going to be weaving this, it would come out really cool. It would be neat to have that nice chunk there. So otherwise, you keep it at a 45-degree angle, or I keep it that way. Everybody can do it, any way you want. But I let it roll over like that. So, hi, Nikki. Sorry, I just thought, I better look at the comments. But yeah, so this 45-degree angle is something that works well for me. If you go a little bit more 90 degrees, your coils, instead of wrapping around like so, you're going to get it coming down more at an angle, which is still pretty. It just depends on what are you trying to attain. What look are you going for? My suggestion would be, if when you're starting out, is spend yourself some thick and thin on some yarn or some fiber that didn't cost you a fortune, so you feel okay with playing with it, and then just try a bunch of different things. Do it tighter like this at a 40, you're at a 45-degree angle here, and let it wrap and see how it looks. And then you can also do it at more of a longer angle, and then you have more of a seashell as opposed to coils. But gosh, they're both pretty. Just make sure whatever core you're using is relatively strong, because you're going to have the twist building up. And that's probably the biggest thing, is controlling this twist and letting it go a little bit. So if you can kind of hold your hands closer together, you'll be able to control that probably a little bit easier. But again, just try and do whatever works for you. Takes a lot of yardage to make not a blot of this type of yarn, because you are really plying it and twisting it. So it's probably time to do another one of those oopsie haystacks. So I'll do that. Hold tight here, let this wrap, a little bit of tension, and then bring it back down. So you've got coils, big haystack, push it through, and then keep going. So playing and doing art yarns has always been my favorite thing. Probably because I'm not a really big knitter. I can knit, but I'm not fast at it. I don't think I'm like that great at it, because I don't, if you make mistakes and you have to go back and fix them, I guess, I feel like I'm always in a hurry to get stuff done, and I really need to slow down and not be like that. But I'm someone who likes fast results, and I feel like I've always been in a hurry, probably because, um, I raised my boys on my own basically. And so it was always, I felt I was always rushing. So like, to get to work or to get back to daycare or to get him to baseball practice or to get him to soccer practice, or I had to get back to the school, or they were hungry. So I had to get them some food, or, you know, just constantly in a hurry. And so for some reason, I've had a really hard time. They're adults now, but I've had a hard time pulling out of that, being in a hurry and trying, uh, I don't know, trying to slow down a little bit. And so I like to just, I need to slow down, I guess, and maybe be a little bit more of a perfectionist. That might be what I try to do. But again, I do like to crochet, and I like to freeform crochet just because it just comes more natural to me. I can read patterns, I can do that. But this is just something, I just like to I like the free form thought. Even when it comes to dyeing, I don't write my dye recipes down. I have them all locked upstairs in the old vault up here in the head. And so I can do some repeatable things, but I like to just work with the colors and let them kind of do their thing. But yeah, so this thick and thin stuff, it's fun. It's a lot of fun to watch it. Get beautiful results. They do get, to me, this is instant results. You go, oh, you get to see how cool this comes out. I've got a pretty big bobbin full here too. So let's see, what haven't I covered? When I do these, you can set your yarn like you would normally set any of your hand spun. Soak it in a hot water wash. Either squeeze it dry between paper towels and let it dry. Hang it to dry. You don't want to thwack it or how you take your yarn and the hand spun and you'll kind of thwack it over something hard to kind of get those kinks out. You don't do that with this. Don't do it with hand spun. With art yarns. Simply soak it, roll it up in a towel, squeeze out the excess water, and then hang it to dry. And with this type of a fiber or this type of a yarn, I also trying to keep this from I need to tie more knots in it. I also hang it under tension. So I don't soak my yarns. I soak my regular hand spun, but this I don't soak. This I do. I steam it. So I will hang it. I had it hanging in my shower. I just did this the other day. And then I will maybe I'll just put another hanger or something there on the bottom. Not anything too heavy, but I use just a little handheld steamer and run up along there. And it's really cool because you can watch some of the fibers will really just kind of pop out. But it finishes it really well. Gets all those kinks out. The kinks that you see here, if I was to let go, it pulls all those kinks out. So that is how I do it. That's just a little short demo. So anyhow, like I said, I did another longer demo in the Wool and Fiber Arts group. So if it's something that you'd like to go check out, go on over there. It's a big group, lots of fun, lots of demos, lots of learning experiences, and just good fiber art fun. You're welcome, Nikki. If anybody has any questions, let me know. And otherwise, if you want to check out my sale, it's on Sunday at 1 o'clock Pacific time. So I'm going to have lots of merino bamboo. I'm going to be working on, I've got a lot of braids. I think I have I know I have over 100. So there might be some colors that you guys like, hopefully. And I'll have those. And then I'll be carding also for the week, and I'll be getting some more bats carded up, hopefully. So anyhow, all right, you guys take care, and I will have a great day, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.